Hello, this is Ashley, the creator of Irresistible Dating Method, giving you the dating and relationship advice that you want. So I thought I would make a special video on explaining where I've been, where I disappeared to, what's been going on for the last few years, and just catching up with you guys. I've really missed making these videos, and I definitely plan to do them every week from now on. At least do one a week. I think it's very important to keep the relationship with you going, and I really enjoy it too. So where have I been? What's been going on? So when I started making these videos, I was in my mid-20s, okay, and I was going through my own journey of discovering relationships, figuring out what worked for me, what didn't work. I was still trying to figure myself out, understand who I was as a person. So about 4 years ago, I went through a breakup, and this was a pretty long relationship. So we've been together 4 years, and we're quite serious. We were going to get married, and I ended the relationship because he's a good person, he's a great guy, but I felt we weren't compatible. And actually, all my exes, at some, if I really thought about it, none of us, we were just not compatible. We're just two different people, and with different values, we wanted different things. And I think if you know this, it's better to just end it, rather than just keep going on with it, because at the end of the day, it's probably not going to work out anyway. So after that relationship ended, I went on this exploration stage of my life, trying to figure out what I wanted, because my world had turned upside down. I thought I had my life all planned out, we just bought a house, we were planning to start a family, and now all of a sudden that was all gone, and, I didn't really know what I was going to do. Lots happened. Okay, so for the next 3 to 4 years, I just went on this huge journey of self-discovery, self-development. I did crazy things. I went overseas, I moved overseas, I lived in China for a year and a half. I made lots of new friends, because before that, I didn't have that many female friends. Had some friends, but when you're in a relationship for a long time, you tend to just, instead of going out and meeting new people like you should, you just get lazy, you just want to spend time with each other instead of going out, meeting new people, that kind of thing. I didn't have a lot of friends back then. So now I was making new friends, female friends, and relationships with female friends is very different. The dynamic is very different. So learning how that worked again, remembering what it was like to have female friends, that was very eye-opening and very important. Also exploring, dating again, and different men of different nationalities, backgrounds, just trying lots of different things. I traveled a lot too, because at that point, before the breakup, I didn't travel. I didn't go anywhere. So I was traveling as much as I could, and just having a great time exploring the world, exploring life, doing lots of different things I've never done before, and then just enjoying myself. And also, I've discovered that there is a biological reason this happens. It's not just some coincidence. So research has shown that, Helen Fisher, an anthropologist, she placed 37 people under a MRI brain scan. So she tested 17 people who were in love, and 15 people who had just recently been dumped. So the people who had just been dumped, okay, what she found was that there were 3 regions of the brain that became active. So the first was the region associated to wanting, craving, and focus. So, that's why, you really want your ex back, or you're always thinking about them, you're always focused on what you don't want. That's that part of the brain that becomes active. The second part is the brain's ability to calculate risks, or calculate wins and losses. So if that's why you're always You're constantly thinking about, okay, what did I do wrong? What went wrong? What can I do now? What am I going to lose? You're always thinking about these things because that's the other part of the brain that becomes active. And of course, the last part of the brain region that becomes active is the part associated to deep attachment to another person. So of course, that's when, although you may feel like you're over your ex and you're over the whole thing, you've been fine for a couple of months or even a year, all of a sudden something will happen and you'll have a dream or you'll watch a movie or you'll hear from your ex, and that feeling comes back again of love or attachment, because that's really attachment coming back, because that, you know, the attachment, that bond you have with that other person is very, very deep. So that it could take a few years for that to completely go away. It's like your brain is it's like your brain is addicted to that other person, and you can't it's like flooding your body with all these hormones of wanting that person, thinking about that person, and it's very difficult when you're going through a breakup. But it's also why I say this may be one of the few times you have the ability to take large amount of risks and be perfectly okay with it. Just think, any other time of your life, you're probably not willing to take risks. You know, if you've already got a family and you have kids, you know, are you really going to jeopardize their situation to move across the country to get a new job? Probably not. But when you've just been through a breakup, you can do that. You know, you can pack up and leave if you wanted to, okay? Maybe if you have kids, that may still be a bit tougher, but say you don't have kids, you have more of a chance that you're going to do it than not. So that's why I say if you're going through a breakup, it's actually a blessing. You know, use this opportunity to really try something completely new and do something crazy, because this is when you're most likely to do it. That's pretty much what I did. For the next 3 to 4 years, I tried lots of different things, and actually it wasn't just going to another country and dating new people and making new friends. It was also career-wise too. I was like, okay, I'd been doing this online business for quite a while. I wanted to, you know, try something different. I wanted to see, you know, maybe I was meant to do something else. I don't know. And I've always loved art, so I wanted to pursue that path, because my thinking was, because I was already taking risks in all these other areas, why not do it with my career too? Because it just seemed to make sense. And it's funny how all these things tend to happen around the same time. So that's what I did. I just didn't want to have regrets. You know, I didn't want to be one of those people that, I didn't want to be one of those people that years down the road, I regretted not doing this, not doing that when I could have. Fast forward about, I don't know, like 2-3 years later of this period, right? The thing that I realized happened was, after a while of exploring this and exploring that and trying different things, things started to become less fulfilling. Okay. In the beginning, trying new things, going to new places is super fun and enjoyable, because everything is new and exciting. But then after a while, you start to feel like you want more, you know, like having just superficial connections every now and then, it became empty, you know, like, at least for me anyway. So I actually really crave deeper connections. You know, I've always liked having deep, meaningful conversations. So, but the problem is, when you are meeting new people, you can't always have that with someone you've just met. And after a while, and also even with certain girlfriends, okay, with certain girls, you can't have a deep and meaningful conversation with them either. Like, it's very different. Okay, so after a while, I started really craving a deeper connection, something else. And I think this is probably a very natural progression that we all go through. So when I think in the beginning, so let's say stage 1 or level 1 is when you just look after yourself. You know, especially after breakup, when you're like super wounded, you need to look after yourself. You need to make yourself feel better, feel strong again, feel confident again. So that's why going out, doing things, you know, dating, this is all really about self-love, about how do you get yourself to love yourself again without relying on another person. So that's stage 1. Once you reach that point where you're comfortable with yourself, you're confident with yourself, you're happy, then after a while, you actually start craving that next level. Like the next level being, you actually want to now care about someone else. You know, if your life is just about you, after a while that becomes very empty. It's not very fulfilling if it's just all about you. So the next level up is where you start to crave having someone else to look after or to take care of or to make happy or to care about, you know. So your life isn't just about you, it's about the community, it's about us, it's about the other person, you know. And when you reach that level, when you reach that point of wanting that deeper connection again and wanting to give to others, give to someone else and not just yourself, that's when things change. That's like the next stage of life or the next level of personal development. That's when my focus shifted. And oddly enough, when you move into this new phase of your life, it affects everything else as well. So even in terms of my career, I wanted more meaning from my career. It wasn't just about, you know, earning enough money to pay the bills. It's about how do I actually make differences in people's lives? How do I actually really help people and grow the community and make life better? So once again, it's not just about me anymore. It's about, you know, the us or, you know, other people. Once that perspective shifted, and like I said, it can take a bit of time. Everybody's different, okay? But once it shifted that way, that was when I was able to meet my current partner, who is just the most wonderful man in the whole world, who is just perfect for me. In terms of my career as well, give me more clarity and more focus on where I want to take it in a way I couldn't have even envisioned in the past. Because, you know, like when you're at stage 1, you can only see to the end of stage 1. You can't look past the wall. Okay, so you kind of have to move to the end of stage 1, move to stage 2 before you can see a new path. So that was pretty much what was going on, you know. And it's taken this long. And this is a really long video and it's quite in depth. I think as people, we're all more similar than we think. You know, we go through similar like life stages. So if you're currently going through one of these stages, maybe some of it resonates with you, maybe it doesn't yet. You know, maybe it will in the future. It doesn't really matter, okay? As long as you know you're going through your own journey. Everyone's journey is a little bit different, and you know, the most important thing is you don't get stuck somewhere. I know some people get stuck at a certain point for a long time. So it may have taken me 2-3 years to realize I wanted that deeper connection with somebody, and also figure out what I wanted, you know, what kind of person I wanted in a relationship. It took me that long to figure it out. For other people, it may take them 10 plus years to figure it out. I mean, it just depends on how much you're focused on that personal growth. Okay, if you're not focused on it, if you're just trying to survive, you're trying to just do what you've always done, then most likely you're going to stay in that same cycle. You're staying in that same rut. Just depends when you're ready to move to that next stage. And something will often trigger that for you to want to go to that next stage. I wanted to explain everything that I had been through in the journey, especially the emotional journey that I was on. I think it may benefit a lot of people who are going through similar things, especially after a breakup. You're probably going to experience similar thoughts. So if that's been somewhat useful, then great. Okay, so that's all I wanted to share for this video, and please, if you have any questions about dating, relationships, breakups, let me know, and I'll be able to make more videos for you and more content for you coming up. I'll talk to you soon in the next video. Bye.